What's up, guys? Alvaro here. Welcome to the Bilingual Stock Market channel again. On this channel, we talk about the markets and we do it in English and Spanish as well, so you can pick your preferred language. And in this video, and as I do it Mondays through Thursdays, I want to make a quick stock market update. So I want to break down some technicals, going over the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100, but also going over GameStop, AMC Entertainment, and two cryptocurrencies that, as I am recording this video right now, are getting absolutely killed. So let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin and good old DOGECOIN. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. And today we had a mixed day in the markets, guys, because Russell 2000, S&P 500, and Dow Jones went down. However, the Nasdaq 100 reached a new all-time high. We are going to go over the Nasdaq 100 in just a second. Nasdaq went up 0.07%. Russell 2000 went down 0.72%. Dow Jones was the worst performing index, going down 0.76%, and the S&P 500 went down 0.34%. However, and despite the fact that we saw a lot of red today, the reopening stocks had a solid day. So in today's trading session, we saw Disney, Wynn Resorts, Royal Caribbean, Carnival Cruise Line going up. But we still have the same situation that I have been telling you guys about. We have only a handful of stocks doing the heavy lifting. We have 6 or 7 stocks keeping the markets near all-time high. I am talking about the Apples of the world, Amazon, Tesla, Netflix reached today a new all-time high, Microsoft, and so forth. So this is not the healthiest situation for the markets, but this is what is going on as of now. And when it comes to the sectors that trade inside the S&P 500, the best performing sector today was consumer discretionary, which went up 0.28%. We can make the case that this was the best performing sector because of Tesla and Amazon, which both stocks had a phenomenal day, and the worst performing sector was industrials, going down 1.77%. And we have a very important sector that is still lagging, which is the financial sector, that went down today 0.53%. So if we want to see a new leg up in the markets, guys, we need the participation of the financial sector. And on top of that, most of the tech stocks that are keeping the markets near all-time high are getting exhausted. They are most of those stocks are as of now overbought. So the healthiest thing for the markets would be seeing a rotation back into cyclicals and back into the financial sector in the upcoming days. I don't think that the markets are going to go way higher relative to the spot in which we are as of now, with only a handful of stocks doing the heavy lifting, and with those stocks being in quite an overbought condition. I don't think that is going to be the case. And when it comes to the S&P 500, and as I just told you, this index went down today 0.34%, and it closed today's trading session at 4,520 points. So I am going to pull up here the 10-day chart and take a look, guys, at the massive drop that we saw this morning in the S&P 500. So this index opened the trading session at 45.35, and in a matter of a few minutes, this index dropped down to 45.13. And at that spot, the bulls managed to find support. And why? Well, because 45.13 is a previous area of lower support that already acted as such back on August 30th, and it also acted as overhead resistance back on August 27th. So the bulls managed to find support at a spot, at a level, at an area in which they were supposed to find support. And this red line that you guys can see over here is none other than 4,500, and I have been telling you guys that from a technical standpoint, there is no reason to short the markets while the bulls remain trading above 4,500. We are in a clear uptrend. We are trading above the moving averages. And take a look at the relative strength index of the S&P 500. It is at 53 points. Very, but very healthy from a technical standpoint. So as long as the bulls remain trading above 4,500, what we are seeing over here in the case of this index is a process of consolidation slightly above a very important area of lower support, as I just said, 4,500, and that is just the truth of the matter, guys. There is no reason to buy puts or to short the markets over here unless this area of lower support happens to be broken to the downside. So from a resistance standpoint, we are looking at all-time high for the S&P 500 at 45.45, and in terms of lower support, we can expect the bulls to find support tomorrow once again at 45.13 if that area happens to be tested. And if that area of lower support happens to be broken to the downside, then the most important line of defense for the bulls is going to be 4,500. And in the case of the NASDAQ 100, let me pull up here the 4-hour chart, and we have a brand new all-time high. Once again, in the case of this index, at 15,701 points. So I am going to zoom in here on the 4-hour chart, and we can make the case that the RSI of the NASDAQ 100 is a bit elevated. It is at 70 points, and I have been telling you guys that as long as the bulls remain trading above 15,500 points, they are in total charge of this index. And yeah, that is just the truth of the matter, guys. We are on a clear uptrend. We are trading above the moving averages, and it looks like the bulls are simply gathering momentum in order to take on 15,800, 15,900 points. That seems to be coming, guys, even though I just told you that most of the tech stocks that broke the NASDAQ 100 this high are very overbought. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see some sort of a slight pullback in the case of the NDX, and if the bulls can hold 15,500 points as lower support, then this index can trade sideways, guys, for 2 or 3 trading sessions. If that were to happen, then the relative strength index is going to chill out a bit, and that is going to let the bulls keep on going higher without this index being in an overbought condition. But the tape is extremely bullish, guys, so stop buying puts. You're simply guessing over here, no doubt about it. And in the case of the Russell 2000, let's go ahead and take a look at the Russell. The Russell went down 0.72%, so I am going to zoom in here on the 4-hour chart, and the bulls couldn't manage to hold today 2,286 points, which acted as lower support for the Russell on 2 occasions last week. So I would like to see the bulls tomorrow, guys, reconquering this area of lower support that tomorrow is going to act as resistance at 2,288 points. But this tape is also looking bullish, guys. We can see here on the 4-hour chart a clear uptrend. We are still trading above the moving averages, and the RSI, the relative strength index of the Russell 2000, is at 55 points. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with this tape. The most important task for the bulls of the Russell would be reconquering 2,288 points and then filling the gap up to the next important area of overhead resistance at 2,360 points. And before going over Bitcoin, guys, which is going to be the first asset that I am going to break down from a technical standpoint in this video, I wanted to show you a trade that I broke down in one of the videos that we posted last week here on the channel, and that I closed in a successful way today. And I am talking about Zoom Video Communications. So on August 31st, I purchased 30 shares at $292. I told you watch out for Zoom near $290 or $292 because that's an important area of lower support. So I paid $8,781 to purchase these 30 shares, and I ended up selling out of these 30 shares today at $300, and I was paid $9,000. So I ended up making over here something like $230. This was a base hit. So remember, guys, that base hits put you in the Hall of Fame. And now let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin. And in the case of Bitcoin, guys, we actually had good news today because El Salvador, or El Salvador, as we say in Spanish, announced that they are going to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender. So why the heck did Bitcoin drop almost 7% today? Well, because supposedly, I haven't been able to confirm this, but supposedly there was a massive leverage loan liquidation, guys. So apparently a lot of Bitcoin bulls got absolutely greedy, and they were pretty much assuming that Bitcoin were going to hit all-time high in a matter of a few days, and they got very heavy on leverage and they were liquidated today, and that's the reason why we saw this massive drop in the case of Bitcoin of almost 18%. Jeez. So what could potentially happen with this cryptocurrency, guys? So as of now, we are trading slightly below a very important area of former support at $47,000. So $47,000 is acting now as resistance. $47,000 already acted as support for Bitcoin back in mid-May. It also did it back in mid-April, and also back in the beginning of March, and also back in mid-February. So we are seeing over here a former area of lower support that was broken to the downside and that now is acting as resistance. If the bulls of Bitcoin fail on taking $47,000, then we might see Bitcoin pulling back down to $44,000, guys. That is going to be the next foreseeable area of lower support. And mind you, the bulls of Bitcoin managed to find support today precisely at $44,000 after we saw this massive drop today. So $44,000 is a previous area of lower support that acted as such in the course of August for Bitcoin, but we are also talking about a former area of lower support in which the bulls of Bitcoin found support back in late February and also back in mid-February. So if any of you is interested in dollar cost averaging or maybe starting a position in Bitcoin, then watch out for a pullback down to $44,000, guys. I think that from a technical standpoint, we can expect the bulls to find a good support over there if that area happens to be visited in an aggressive way, just like it happened today. And mind you, guys, take a look at how the bulls found support today right at the 180 SMA on the 4-hour chart near $44,000. So the fact that the bulls managed to find support at the 180 SMA, and that as of now they are trading between the moving averages on the 4-hour chart, the 50 SMA and the 180 SMA, that leaves this golden cross absolutely intact. So we can make the case that Bitcoin could potentially burst above. We could also, let's say, make the case that Bitcoin could burst above $47,000, which is an area that is acting as of now as overhead resistance, and maybe fill the gap up to the other important area of overhead resistance near $53,000. $53,000, or let's say $53,500. is a previous area of lower support that already acted as such for Bitcoin on 1, 2, 3, and 4 occasions before. So watch out for those two possible scenarios, guys, in the case of Bitcoin. Either a drop down to $44,000 or maybe a breakout of $47,000, and maybe if that were to happen, we could see Bitcoin filling the gap up to $53,000 or $53,500. And now let's go ahead and take a look at AMC Entertainment. And in the case of AMC, I think that the stock of this company went up today. Yeah, it went up a lot actually. 8.66%, and it closed today's trading session at $47.83. So I am going to zoom in here on the 4-hour chart, and I gotta zoom in a bit more and take a look how bullish was what happened today, guys. If you remember the video that we posted here on the channel on Sunday, I told you the main task, the main homework for the bulls of AMC on Tuesday's trading session is reconquering the lower line of this uptrending channel on the 4-hour chart, and that's exactly what happened today. So AMC closed at $47.83, and the lower line of this uptrending channel was at $46.50. So the price action that we saw today was very bullish. So I am going to zoom out over here, and you guys know that in the case of AMC, a golden cross unfolded back on August 26th. So this golden cross is absolutely intact, and the next important task for the bulls of AMC is going to be taking on $48.80, which is the most immediate area of overhead resistance. As of now, we can see the relative strength index of AMC at 67 points. It is a bit elevated, but we recently saw AMC trading with its RSI at 84 points. So I wouldn't be surprised if the bulls can take on $48.50 and then fill in the gap up to the next important area of overhead resistance at $52. Let's remember that $52 is an area of lower support that already acted as such for AMC on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 occasions in the course of June. So in my opinion, guys, AMC is looking extremely bullish. It had a very solid day today. And as I just said, the fact that the bulls managed to reconquer the lower line of this uptrending channel is very bullish. And I think that we are going to see AMC bursting above $48.50 sooner rather than later, and then possibly paying a visit to the other important area of overhead resistance for AMC near $52. And now let's go ahead and take a look at good old DOGECOIN, guys, because I took advantage of the drop that we saw today in most of the cryptocurrencies out there, and I opened a position on Doge. So let me show you. I think that I bought some Doge at 26 cents. So let me go ahead and take a look. I must be having as of now an unrealized loss. Yeah, I do. So I invested $2,000 in DOGECOIN, and I have an average cost of 26 cents. And as of now, I have an unrealized loss over here of $120. So what would be my plan when it comes to this swing position that I opened in the case of Doge? And take into account, guys, that Doge is trading as of now at 25 cents. So the next important area of support for Doge, and that is an area in which I am going to be tempted to pick up some more Doge, is going to be 23 cents. 23 cents is a previous area of lower support that already acted as such for Doge back on August 8th, and we are also talking about a former area of overhead resistance in which the bulls of Doge felt back on July 26th. So that is definitely a spot in which I am going to be waiting for Doge in order to invest $1,000 more dollars in the position that I just showed you. If Doge happens to pay a visit to the next important area of overhead resistance at 35 cents, that is going to be, for the most part, guys, the price in which I am going to be closing the position that I just showed you. And mind you, guys, if any of you wants to hold Doge for longer, if Doge happens to take on 35 cents, then, which is a previous area of overhead resistance in which the bulls of Doge failed in mid-August, then the other important area of overhead resistance for Doge is going to be 43 cents. 43 cents is a previous area of overhead resistance in which the bulls of Doge failed back in June. So watch out for those, guys. I think that if Bitcoin happens to burst above $47,000 and fills the gap up to $53,000, we are very likely to see Doge paying a visit to 35 cents. And take a look at how the bulls of Doge are trying to hold the moving averages on the one-day chart, both the 180 SMA and the 50 SMA. So I think that Doge looks decent over here. And at the end of the day, we know that Doge pretty much depends on whatever Bitcoin does. And if we take a look at the RSI, the relative strength index, it is at 40 points, very healthy. So that's it, guys. Watch out for Doge, maybe paying a visit down to 23 cents, finding a good support over there, and then bouncing back up. Or maybe watch out for Doge filling the gap up to 35 cents if Bitcoin does the same from $47,000 up to $53,000. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the last stock of this video, which is going to be GameStop. And in the case of GameStop, watch out for GameStop tomorrow, because GameStop is going to report earnings after hours. And you guys know that the stock of this company is very, but very overvalued. At these levels, this is a very expensive stock, so I don't think that anything that GameStop could report tomorrow after hours is going to please the market. So I think that the likelihood for GameStop to take a dump tomorrow after earnings is very high. However, I picked up some shares of GameStop today, so let me show you over here. I purchased, this is a small position for the most part. I picked up 25 shares at an average cost, of $199.45, and as of now, I have an unrealized loss over here of $35. So I pretty much want to take advantage, guys, of what could be a potential rally tomorrow as soon as the trading session opens. But I don't think I am going to hold GameStop through earnings, because as I just said, this is a very expensive stock at these levels, and the markets aren't going to like whatever GameStop reports. So I am going to pull up here the 1 hour chart, and maybe tomorrow, guys, this is a big maybe, if GameStop happens to pay a visit down to the next important area of lower support near $192, and if I happen to confirm from a technical standpoint that that area is providing a good support, I could be picking up maybe 20 more shares. And why $192? Well, because $192 is a previous area of lower support that already acted as such for GameStop back on August 27th, and it also did it back on August 25th. So, and taking into account that my average cost is near $199, if I pick up 20 more shares at $192, I am going to end up having an average cost of $196. And for all intents and purposes, guys, in order to close this trade, I am going to be looking at $231. And mind you, if tomorrow, right at the opening, GameStop starts to run up and pays a visit to $231, that is the price in which I am going to be closing this trade. $231 is an area of overhead resistance in which the bulls of GameStop failed on September 1st. So let's say that I can average down my position at $192 and I end up having an average cost of $196. And if I close this trade at $230 each, I could be potentially making a profit of $14. And if GameStop happens to run up tomorrow as soon as the trading session opens, so I have an average cost of $199, and if I sell out of my shares at $230, I am going to be making a profit of $14. And regardless of the profit that I could be making over here, guys, I am very likely to close this position before the closing bell, because as I just said, I don't think that GameStop is going to do well after earnings. But watch out tomorrow for GameStop potentially paying a visit down to $192 or maybe bursting above $200. This could very well be a momentum play. Let me pull up here the 4-hour chart and take a look at these, guys. So when we talk about $200, we are talking about a former area of overhead resistance in which the bulls of GameStop failed back in February, also back in March, and also back in late April. And we are also talking about a former area of lower support that already acted as such for the bulls of GameStop back in late June. So if GameStop happens to burst above $200 tomorrow, right at the opening of the trading session on good volume and momentum, it could easily fill the gap up to $231. So watch out for Netflix either paying a visit to the lower support of $193, finding a good support over there, and then bouncing back up on, or maybe bursting above $200 on good volume and momentum, and maybe filling the gap up to $228 or $230 per share. And with GameStop, I am going to wrap up the video. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you very much for hanging out with me once again. Remember and keep in mind, guys, that here on the Bilingual Stock Market channel, we are posting stock market update videos Mondays through Thursdays, 3 or 4 hours after the market closes. So if you want to get all of the notifications of all of our videos in a timely manner, you have to be subscribed to the channel, but you also need to activate the notification bell right up there. Follow us on Instagram as well, guys, at Bilingual Stock Market. And remember that this is the Bilingual Stock Market channel, the YouTube channel in which we talk about the markets, but we do it in English and Spanish as well, so you can pick your preferred language. But most importantly, this is the YouTube channel in which we know that the wonderful world of Wall Street is not for geniuses, it is for entrepreneurs just like you guys and myself. My name is Alvaro, and I will see you guys tomorrow once again, 3 or 4 hours after the market closes. Peace out.